And we're coming to you live for the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti, it's Boomer and Gio on the Fan, simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are on the free Odyssey app, good Wednesday morning. The Yankees continue with their Plan B, a much-rumored trade with the Cubs to bring in Cody Bellinger. And when we were talking about Soto to either the Mets or the Yankees and whether it was the right thing to do to pay him that money, one of the common things that we would talk about is it better to give Juan Soto the $51 million or spread a year or spread that money out across three different players? Well, now you've got some evidence here. The Mets have Juan Soto, and the Yankees have Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, and Devin Williams for almost the same amount of money, a little bit less for the Yankees. So Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, very aggressive after losing Soto, and Bellinger at his best at Yankee Stadium could be a major weapon. But he had a down year last year. He's making a lot of money, and the Cubs could not wait to get rid of him to free up some money so they could go out and get some better players. So this could go either way. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a risk, I would say, but I think it's a risk worth taking. And when you think about the Juan Soto signing, they also had to give him a $75 million signing bonus. Mm-hmm. So the Yankees didn't have to do that. The Yankees don't have to give him an average of $61 million over the next 5 years. So it really does make sense that, they are starting to go to Plan B, and Plan B obviously starts with pitching, and now it's defense and offense where he can play first base or center field, most likely center field, I would think, and then maybe Judge moving over to right field, but we'll see how that all plays out in spring training and see whether or not they go after somebody else like an Alex Bregman and see whether or not, the Yankee fan believes that they are doing the right thing. So we sit here right now, they lose Juan Soto, we get through all of that, and now they are reacting in kind, and I think they added three really good baseball players to a team that could use three really good baseball players.
Yeah.
And, you slot him in this lineup, and I would think that he will have a much better year than he had last year. He should be excited about joining this lineup and hitting either in front of or behind Aaron Judge. So all of that stuff from Cody Bellinger's standpoint has got to be great. I mean, if I'm him and I wake up this morning, I am feeling like I can't wait for baseball season to start because I would be excited coming to the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and he's when he's on, obviously he won the 2019 MVP. That was his best season. And when he's on, he's one of the more aesthetically pleasing baseball players to watch, both in the field and at bat. I mean, he's got one of the sweetest swings in the game from the left-handed side. Obviously, that should help with the short porch out there. He's a really good defensive player in a bunch of different places. But, his numbers were down last year. His power numbers were way down. He had over 40 home runs in 2019 when he won the MVP, only 18 last year. But you would imagine on a better team in this lineup that he could absolutely thrive, and he's 29. It's not like you're bringing in a 34-year-old, and now they got to decide. Are they going to use Bellinger at first base a lot? Are they going to use Ben Rice there? Are they still going to go and pursue someone like Christian Walker or Pete Alonso at first base? So there's still some things to be done, but this team obviously, Brian Cashman, Hal Steinbrenner, and everybody over there after losing Juan Soto was not like, hey, all right, maybe this is a transition period. They know that Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole are still in their prime, and they got to make a run at it, especially in a weak American League that got them to the World Series last year pretty easily.
Yeah, I would think that, with their starting pitching now, their new closer, this multi-dimensional baseball player, and they're not done adding yet. They still have plenty of money and plenty of room to add a couple more players. We'll see whether or not they're going to be big-time players. The other thing about Cody Bellinger, it's a 2-year contract. It's basically what he has.
Yeah.
So you have 2-year contract, and he could be a trade candidate in a year and a half, and that could be an asset for them as well if, in fact, they have to go down that road as well. So those are things that you can't predict. Those are only things that you can just look forward to the future and say, all right, we got a 2-year deal with this guy. If he lives up to it, then maybe we extend him again. Or, in a year and a half, we may trade him at the trade deadline. You never know. So these are all things that, you have to take into account when you sign players like this, when you make trades for players like this. And for me, just sitting as a non-Yankee fan, I think they've done a really good job of doing what they should be doing in light of losing Juan Soto.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with any of the moves. I mean, obviously, giving Max Fried that many years at the back end is not going to be something that will be palatable. But if you wanted him, you had to do that. You had to guarantee him those 8 years to get him for the first 3 or 4 years to have the best years out of him. You have to deal with the back end. So that's something that they had to do. But, yeah, I also, you're always cautious about bringing in these pitchers and paying them a lot of money that may not pitch well in New York or may not mix. But, we'll see how that pans out. Hopefully it's more, a Garrett Cole situation for Max Fried as opposed to a Carlos Rodon situation for Max Fried. But, yeah, I think if you're a Yankee fan, you're happy. You're excited about this offseason. You're happy that you guys are in Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner are not sitting around and sitting on their hands. They're going out there and they're being proactive, and they're going to make sure that they capitalize while Aaron Judge is still the best player, the best hitter in baseball, at least in the regular season. And you have an ace who won a Cy Young just a year ago. So that's what you got to do. And I feel like I'm talking lots of baseball lately, man. Like even on and off the air.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening. Though.
Jesus, man! Even off the air yesterday, we were hanging around with a couple baseball guys. We were doing man stuff and having a man dinner and talking baseball there.
Yeah,
we can't talk enough about talking so much baseball.
Yeah, you with Franco, Leiter, and Jason Marquis.
That's right.
What he's supposed to be talking. So and I threw a question out there because I was doing an interview and I wanted to know if there's anything that they could change or would want to change in baseball if they could. One thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure really what anybody said. What Jason had a good point.
All right, this is all right. I think I remember. John Franco said the throws over to first base.
Right, you can't limit. You
can't limit throws over to first base.
Okay, yep.
Al Leiter said, "I've got something that's so wacky we don't have time for. I don't feel like explaining it." That was his answer to that. And
what did Jason say?
Was it adding to the? I don't know what it was. I don't remember. Was it adding to the roster or something? Or
that was me.
I don't remember what he said. I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But I mean, those guys also love the game the way the game is.
Yeah, they all seem to like the pitch clock. Initially, they didn't like it, but now they do like it. And obviously, all three are pitchers. So
yeah, I was in my because. The 99 and 2000 Mets, you have a wheelhouse when you're growing up a fan as a teenager.
This is a wheelhouse spot for you?
It was a wheelhouse spot for me because you got to think, so I was a junior and senior in high school during those times.
Okay.
So I'm playing high school baseball. Neil Heaton's my coach. I can go to games at Shea Stadium. I went to a ton of games. Like that was those guys were my guys. Piazza, Franco, Leiter, Edgardo Alfonso, all those guys. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to be that fanboy guy who's bugging them. I got to find interesting questions for them. And I felt like I did that because I could tell when someone's rolling their eyes having to answer the same thing over and over again in their careers or whatever. So I found little things that I thought that they would appreciate.
Let me tell you something about us egotistical ex-athletes.
You just love talking about yourselves?
Well, we sit down next to somebody who really likes us and who really thinks, back to when we were actually a thing.
Yeah.
And then you bring those things up, we're going to love it. So, I could see Leiter. He was just lighting up every time you were asking him something.
Yeah, well.
Hey, how about that game that you pitched in Cincinnati?
Well, I know that, right. Well, that was the big one. I said, is that your favorite, because you guys were talking a lot about Cincinnati, and I was like, is your favorite professional career in Cincinnati has to be that one-game playoff in the 1999 season where you pitched against the Reds? And he goes, oh, yeah, absolutely. Then he told a story about how, because it was a late game, and he said all the college kids had somehow descended upon the stadium that day. He said he'd never seen a drunker crowd and rowdy crowd in Cincinnati in his life. He felt like he was pitching in Philadelphia. And as he was warming up, they're screaming at him because where you warmed up in the bullpen there, they're right on top of you.
Yeah, I think it was right down the left field or right field line.
And he said that juiced him up and got him to a different level. And
you
I was like,
you got an answer you didn't even expect that.
Yeah. And Franco, I've known for a while. So Franco's just I talked to him more about others, but Leiter I never had a chance to talk to. So it was cool.
So we're sitting there for dinner, and then something pops into your head. And you ask Franco a question because it popped into your head.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
This is great, Al. This is
my
unbelievable.
God. So All right, there's a part of this that I'll tell off the air that's really funny, but the whole thing was funny. So, all right, we hired, as we've talked about on the show with Peter Schwartz before, a couple of little people for Boomer and Geo Live. And the first one we hired was a man named Scott, who played Little Boomer. So the whole bit was, we tried to clone Boomer. We needed more of Boomer for the show, and we were worried he was maybe going to have too much Casamigos, so we wanted another Boomer. And we cloned him, but we screwed up. And
we only had half a Boomer.
So then Scott came out with a Bengals jersey and a blonde wig out of the fireplace at the Paramount, and he popped out, and he was Little Boomer. And he was a part of the show the rest of the time, and we're seeing it on CBS Sports Network. So Scott, I've been friendly with Scott since. I have his number. I talked to him. I saw him at a St. Patrick's Day party.
Right.
So one of the things that Scott always told me was that he went to high school with John Franco. And I kind of believed him, but I didn't. It was just like one of those things where I was like, is that what he just tells everybody, or did they really know each other? He's like, oh, yeah, me and John used to hang out all the time. It was amazing. And I'm like, all right, Scott, one of those, all right, buddy. Because he really made it seem like they were good friends. And for whatever reason, I was like, it's probably just his claim to fame. So I go to John Franco. I can't even get it out of my mouth. I was like, did you go to school with a dwarf? He goes, Scotty?
Yes.
And he knew.
Yes.
He's like, oh, yeah, Scotty's the best. He's like, I hired him one Christmas when my girls were younger to show up as an elf at the door. It was amazing. He had all these Scotty stories. We used to hang out. We took care of him on the baseball team.
Right. He was the manager of the baseball team.
Yeah.
And he would yell at the guys after they lost.
Exactly. He used to get in their face, and then they'd be like, all right, Scotty, enough. Shut up now. So he told all these great stories about Little Boomer.
Yeah.
Scotty. So that was great.
Oh, and by the way, you would have been proud of us boys. We did take the ferry last night.
We did. Yep.
They got that thing on lockdown, man.
I got to tell you, if you are going back and forth from Lower Manhattan to Jersey City and you're doing anything other than that, you're crazy.
Right.
I mean, from the cost efficiency to the time efficiency to those boats are clean. The people on there were respectful, at least the ferry we were on for 5 minutes.
You were only on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
It is on the boat, off the boat, and that's it.
It's great.
And it's quick. And everybody who does that for, obviously you could tell we were all with the commuters at the time.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Sure.
They know when the lineup, when not the lineup. And it is a quick operation. And I noticed that 98% of the people who live here wear black, just like I'm wearing today.
Yeah. A lot of black. A lot of black jackets in the winter.
Big puffy black jackets.
Yeah. Yep. So, that was great. We spent a lot of time commuting with yesterday with each other.
That was kind of normal. It actually felt pretty good.
Yeah, and then eating as well. We spent a lot of time eating.
Did the drones come up at the dinner table?
They did. Yeah. Jason Marquis has seen a lot of them above his home. So, and then, I didn't want to, because, so Al went to depths of this before anybody. And then I think because I work with Al and he was hitting on things that was making me interested, and then I'm also a TikTok person, that sucked me into depths of this thing that I'm ashamed to even talk about. So, I'm biting my tongue when people are saying these things, like their theories on things, and I'm just like, don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna come across like a wacko. Don't debunk any theory. Just we're at a Christmas dinner. Don't bring up time travel. Don't bring up orbs. Don't bring up other dimensions. Don't do it. Just relax. Let everybody believe that these are hobby drones and eat your little tuna taco and shut up. So that's what I was doing. So I didn't get into. I just let everybody talk about the drones in the way they wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't get into it though.
Because because not everybody is as open-minded about things. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about space and possibilities and the cosmos. Like I was talking about the other day when I was losing my mind over this whole thing. And when you start, and I don't know Jason Marquis all that well. It's the first time I'm meeting him.
Right,
we're talking about golf. We're talking about baseball. We're hitting it off. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. And then all of a sudden, I'm dropping, plasmoids and orbs on him, and then I'm done. We have no relationship anymore. And I don't want to be known as that guy.
How did it come up, though? Who brought it up?
I think he did. He did over because he said he saw a bunch of them over his home. So
you also, yesterday, you had the House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman, Michael McCall, basically came out and said that he believes that some of these unidentified drones over Jersey and New York are spy drones from China.
From China, yeah,
yes.
I know. Yeah.
So
China,
you have that now.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, it's the sitting member of Congress now.
Yeah. This is one of those things where
House Foreign Affairs Committee.
Well, if that's the case, then they're dropping a ball more than they've ever dropped a ball in the history of dropping the ball, because anything that is foreign in restricted airspace in the last 50 years when we've had capabilities gets blown out of the sky in 15 seconds.
I'm just saying, over the last 4 years, how many times have they dropped the ball?
Well, yeah,
I mean, literally, you got to understand, we're still under that group of people that supposedly are running this thing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. Number one, I wouldn't believe a word they say.
Well, that I agree with, but I don't. The foreign adversary thing does not. That does not fly with me. I don't believe that. But whatever. But then again, what I don't do is completely shut anything down.
Yeah, no, yeah,
possible.
Yeah. You're open.
Everything's possible because nobody knows. But for me personally, I do not subscribe to the fact that these are.
When you have the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee standing in front of a lectern, and he's got the United States Congress behind him, and he claims this, you have to take that seriously.
Yeah, but then I just got done watching the woman at the Pentagon refer to local New Jersey law enforcement about this. I just saw that. I just saw this other guy who was the that one doofus who's out there like, it's just people out there. They're airplanes. People they're just seeing airplanes. I saw that.
Well, you and I were, on that ferry last night. We were looking.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of helicopters and a lot of airplanes.
I was.
We didn't see one drone.
It was a clear night. Didn't see any orbs either.
It was a beautiful night last night.
Or it could be Amazon just delivering stuff.
Yeah, Mike did say that. That's what he thought. I think they're getting ready to deliver the packages with the drones. That's what I think. I think Amazon. And everybody's talking about, is it China? Is it Russia? Is it Putin? Is it Kim Jong-un? Is it these guys? Are the aliens here? Are these orbs from another dimension? Folks, you just got to relax, okay? It's Amazon ready to drop your packages. It's your wife who's over-ordering stuff. And they want to get rid of the drivers, okay? And they want to drop the packages with the drones on your doorstep. So just relax. This is no big deal. The aliens are not here. It's just Bezos trying to save some money. We're back.
Okay.
I don't know if I actually haven't listened to the clip yet, but I know that's what he said. That was one of his theories, that these are Amazon drones getting ready to drop packages off.
The thing about any of this is like nobody knows what one of these drones is or where it's coming from. So to even try to figure out, unless you are somebody within the government that has intel, we're all just guessing.
Yeah, well, that's why I just said, I subscribe to my theories, but I will not completely shut anything down. I'll provide another perspective on things, but yeah. But it's what I'm hoping for is that
a muff.
Yeah. What do you want? A muff. But yeah, I'm hoping that in a couple of weeks that things in the sky that have been abnormal are no longer abnormal, and we're okay.
Okay.
But then we never find out about it. Right.
I'm okay with that. I am. In my lifetime, I'm okay with it. I really am. It would be annoying. I'd be interested, but the alternative is not good, because you could find out what it is. It could be harmless, or you could find out what it is, and then, some some aliens from other dimensions and 80 billion light years away could be swallowing us up and taking over the planet because their planet, wherever it is, has gone to hell. Like they've got their own Joe Biden somewhere. And they had to come here to take over our planet.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.